Are there faster ways to do all of this? Undoubtedly. There certainly would be there are a number of ways, number of tools I could use to do the podcast live, not have to do any editing unless there were some problems. But using this model, it I hope is good for instruction. And for more complex productions involving more people with multiple tracks and the quality might be critical, this does allow some flexibility in editing after the recording's done. So I want to mention that all podcasts certainly do not have to be done this way. And indeed, I would take a much more efficient approach in general, especially if time were a factor. So the first thing, we've separated the two parts, and as I mentioned, what I want to do next, and we're nearing the final stages, is to have the opening music fade out over a few seconds, kind of depending on the pace of the show, so that and we don't have background throughout the show. So I want to let the conversation get started and then fade it out.
Thanks, Jim. It's great to be here, and I'm looking forward to sharing our theme and all the exciting things that are planned.
Okay, so I think I will take it from about there. No hard and fast rules to when I do it. I went back to the selection tool here. I'm going to select this part, and I'm going to use the fade out tool. So over that, it looks like about a 10-second period I've selected here. It's going to fade the music out. And you see the waveform does it that fast. I have not done the final adjustment, so the voice and the music are still fighting each other level-wise. I realize that, but here's the automatic fade out.
Great to be here, and I'm looking forward to sharing our theme and all the exciting things that are planned for this summer of 2009.
It's really nice talking now. As you can tell, those of you who are listening to the podcast pretty soon, it's cold, snowy outside. It's kind of nice to be sitting here. Okay, so we've got the level set. Now time to head over to the end. That's right, that does that. Okay, going to the end. Now we've got a couple of things to do here. I want to go back to time shift because I want the fade out of the music to end at a particular point. Actually pretty close to when I'm through talking. Join us for the next edition of our podcast. God bless you. Okay, let's see. So what I think I'll do is just move it over a little bit and edition of our podcast. God bless you. It all sort of ends at the same time. Now you'll notice that the music file is longer. I'm going to go ahead after. Actually, I like to leave a little bit before the player goes into some other kind of mode. 1750 looks like it's going to be a nice number. Okay, so that. And be sure to join us for the next edition of our podcast. God bless you. And there we have it. Maybe tighten this up just a little bit. Dog's getting louder. I don't know if you're hearing it with the headset mic. Maybe it's not so bad. So, on the website as well. Spirit and Life podcast produced by the Christian Outreach Office and other people. And information for downloading this podcast.
Yes,
Well, thanks, and thank you for listening out there. If you'd like information about Spirit and Life, thanks. Actually, I'm actually hearing music, I think, through there, through all of that. I'm going to just put in a split to, because I'm going to do it from there. It's something that'll help me. Use the amplify function. Amplify, I found out, strangely enough, can also be negative amplification. But I didn't select anything, did I? Okay, after my split, I don't want the music to, I don't need a lot of music here. So I select a portion there, go to amplify, and the default, what it's going to do is increase or decrease to the parameters set. I want to just eliminate volume on that part. So it's gone now. Add with people that I'm sure listeners would like to hear if they haven't heard them already. Thanks for joining us today, Mark.
Thanks.
Okay, so actually I could probably have used a little bit more. I mentioned the undo key there. So what I'm going to do now is, I think I would like to start sneaking the music in a little earlier. But what I want to do is, again, this is just the style that I've chosen to use. Other people do things differently, but this is what we're doing here. We've been doing for about a year and a half now, a little over a year and a half. We've done many, many other episodes, and there's some really great conversations that we've had with people. I'm sure listeners would like to hear. Thanks for joining us today, Mark.
Thanks, Jonas. I guess
Well, thanks, and thank you for listening out there. Okay, so I'm going to have it. The music, it's not going to exactly sneak in, but fade up from there. And again, just I had selected an area of the fade. You'll also find some more information about Spirit in Life, a podcast we've been doing for about a year and a half now, a little over a year and a half. We've done many, many other episodes, and there's some really great conversations that you've had with people that I'm sure listeners would like to hear if they haven't heard them already. Thanks for joining us today, Mark.
Thanks, Jonas. I guess
Well, thanks, and thank you for listening out there. Well, just to give you a little bit of an example here, because it looks like we could use some more volume on the voices here. Just to give you a real quick look at some of the ways that we can increase levels. Again, using this amplify effect, which we did not get into, but we do in other lessons that you'll see. I'm going to bring this up about this much. And that should... Year and a half now, a little over a year and a half. We've done many, many other episodes, and there's some really great conversations that you've had with people that I'm sure listeners would like to hear if they haven't heard them already. Thanks for joining us today, Mark.
Thanks, Jonas. I guess
Well, thanks, and thank you for listening out there. Okay, and I'll bring up a little bit more. How does he do this? It's truly amazing. He's done it before. There are, again, some tools in Audacity. Audacity has really, it started off with a lot of tools when I started using it a couple of years ago, actually about 3 years ago now. And it continues to get better and better and better. But there are a few things, some of the effects, some of the filters that were in there just seem to be not quite spot on. So I didn't use them too much. If they haven't heard them already. Thanks for joining us today, Mark.
Thanks, Jonas. Great being with you. I guess I enjoyed it very much.
Well, thanks, and thank you. Alrighty, well that's something we could keep tweaking forever. Well, not forever, because I don't think we'll be around that long. Alrighty, we've got music fades in, that's built in at the beginning, fades out, sneaks out as the conversation starts, sneaks in at the end of the conversation, and we've got the timing set. We've saved the project, and we'll be ready to move to our final steps.